Hello class, and welcome to lesson 4.5, converting measurement units. So first things first is I want you guys to copy this down. These are going to be the measurement units you see most often. When it comes to these, it might be easier to write them just like how we wrote our answers in science, going from smallest to largest. So for example, 1 cup equals, or I would start actually at the bottom. So I would say 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. 1 cup. So then we would have 2 cups equals 1 pint, blah, 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 so on and so forth. I know that you can't see that bottom part, but think about it, so on and so forth. This is important. Copy it down. As we know, here's the larger units on the left and the smaller units are on the right. So a cup is bigger than fluid ounces. A pint is bigger than a cup. A gallon is bigger than a quart and stuff like that. So we've got them all in order. Make sure you copy these down. So I want you to do this. If 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, convert it. How many pounds is 4 tons? How many pounds is 5 tons? And how many pounds is 8 tons? So I want you guys to tell me how many pounds they are. Excellent. So Vahe, what am I going to do? What operation am I going to do to solve these problems?
I did multiplication.
Yes, we are going to multiply. So just before we know, to get from bigger to smaller, I know this sounds weird, but to get from bigger to smaller units, what we do is we multiply. So for example, to get from a ton to pounds, the ton is bigger, pounds are smaller, so we multiply. So exactly, Vahe, what's the answer for the first one?
8,000 pounds.
8,000 pounds, yes. Marjorie, what's the answer for the second one?
10,000 pounds.
10,000 pounds. And Camilla, what's the answer for the last one?
16,000 pounds.
Yes, excellent. You guys did it perfectly. You multiplied the number of tons by how much each ton weighed in pounds. Perfect. I want you to convert 20 feet to inches. I want you to convert 20 feet to inches. So again, when we're going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, we multiply. Are we going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit? Yeah, thumbs up. Feet are bigger than inches. So when going from bigger to smaller, you multiply. That might be something you want to write in your notes. So Amelia, what'd you get as your answer?
240 inches.
240 inches. That sign, by the way, means inches. How did you get 240? What'd you do?
I multiplied 20 times 12 because 12 inches adds up to 1 foot.
Yeah. So she saw 12 inches is 1 foot. So we multiplied the number of feet by the number of inches per foot. Great job. Do this. 36 yards to feet. Again, if we're going bigger to smaller, we multiply. Who would like to tell me how many yards are in 1 foot? How many yards, how many feet are in 1 yard? How many feet are in 1 yard? Pearson, how many feet?
Guess. I think it's 3 or 100.
It is 3 feet. Perfect. Perfect. So Lucas, what did you get as your answer?
I got 108 feet.
Perfect. He got 108 feet. What we did is we just multiplied. We got the 18, we got 9, we make it a 10. Perfect. That's it. What about this? 3/4 tons to pounds. So we're still going from bigger to smaller, right? We're still going. Tons are bigger than pounds. So when we're going bigger to smaller, we still multiply. So exactly, I want you to do that. Now, who can remember though? Here's where we've got an interesting bit. Who can remember how many tons are in how many pounds are in 1 ton? So 1 ton is equal to how many pounds, Dolan?
2,000 pounds.
Perfect. So 2,000 pounds is equal to 1 ton. So we need to figure out what 3/4 tons are, first of all, and then we need to make them into pounds. So wait, if we already know that 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, then how much is 3/4 of that? Dolan, what did you do to solve this problem?
I multiplied.
So, Amelia, what 2 did you multiply?
I multiplied 3/4 and 2,000, but you have to put the 2,000 to a fraction. So you put 2,000 over 1.
Yeah, they have to both be fractions. And then what did you do? Did you do anything?
Multiplied 3 times 2,000.
Does anybody know a good step we could take before we multiply? Remember, what step, Lucas? What do we do?
You can estimate.
Amelia, let's cross cancel. What can I cross cancel?
You can cross cancel 4 into 2,000.
Yeah. So how many 4s go into 2,000?
1,500.
So a total of them that go in. If I made this 20, let's just pretend that it's 20. How many 4s go into 20? 5. So I'm going to get rid of that 20 and turn it into a 5. So 501. So then let's multiply it. Amelia, what's 3 times 500?
15.
Perfect. 1,500 or 1,500. 1 times 1 is?
1.
And if something's written over 1, it doesn't matter. We don't need it. So perfect. That's our answer. Cross-canceling before will always make sure you have the most simple answer, the answer in simplest form. What about this one? 1.5 quarts to pints. So remember, quarts are bigger than pints. Quarts are bigger than pints. Who can tell me how many quarts are in a pint? How many quarts are in, or how many pints are in 1 quart? So for 1 quart is equal to how many pints? Dolan, how many?
2 pints.
2 pints are equal to 1 quart. 2 pints are equal to 1 quart. So again, I multiply. I'm multiplying 1 1/2 times 2. Uh-oh, we have a problem here. I can only multiply if they are what? Romina, I can only multiply if they are what? We can only multiply if they are fractions. Who would like to tell me what 1 1/2 is as a fraction? Who would like to tell me what 1 1/2 is as a fraction? Lucia, what is 1 1/2 as a fraction? Marjorie, what is it as a fraction? 3 over 2, exactly. We multiplied here. 1 times 2 is 2. We add it to the top. 1 plus 2 is 3. And we keep our denominator. 2 as a fraction is 2 over 1. Hey, I can cross-cancel some things here. 2 and 2 are both divisible by 2, surprisingly. So that becomes a 1. And this becomes a 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. I don't even need to write it over the fraction. So I get my answer to be 3. What about this one? 1/4 cups to fluid ounces. 1/4 cups to fluid ounces. How many fluid ounces are in 1 cup? Who can tell me how many fluid ounces are in 1 cup? Amelia, how many fluid ounces are in 1 cup?
8 fluid ounces.
Perfect. 8 fluid ounces are in 1 cup. 8 fluid ounces are in 1 cup. So how many fluid ounces are in 1/4 cups? So Dolan, let's see this. What am I going to do? What steps am I going to do? Dolan, what did you do?
I multiplied 1/4 and 8 over 1.
Perfect. What did you do next?
I cross-canceled 8 and 4.
What did you get when you cross-canceled?
2 and 1.
Perfect. They're both divisible by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then what did you get as your answer?
2.
Perfect. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. So we just write our answer as 2. What about this one? 1/8 miles to feet. How many feet are in 1 mile? How many feet are in 1 mile? Who would like to tell me how many feet are in 1 mile? Romina.
5,280 feet.
Excellent. So when we do this, we know from bigger to smaller, we multiply 1/8 times 5,280. So perfect. We might want to cross cancel. Now let's say you don't know. You're thinking, oh, maybe the answer, maybe 8 can go into it. I don't know, but I know 2 can go into it, right? I know 2 can go into it, so let's divide them both by 2. And then maybe can 2 go into it again? And then maybe can 2 go into it again? We don't know. So figure it out. Just do it with the numbers that you know. Camilla, what can I divide 5,280 by?
I didn't cross cancel because I don't like the method, so I just multiplied.
So what happens when you, so you found out that they're both divisible by 8. What is 5,280 divided by 8?
660.
Excellent. So then, since we divided them both by 8, we multiply, we get 660 over 1, or just 660. A lot of you guys are saying, I just multiplied across and then divided. That's the same thing as cross-canceling, just doing it out of order. I suggest cross-canceling first, but if you don't get it, save it till the end. Make sure you do that. Last question. Actually, we'll resume later. So with this one, how many quarts are in 1 gallon? 1 gallon is equal to, exactly, 4 quarts. So just like we knew when we were going from bigger to smaller, we multiplied. From smaller to bigger, we're going to divide. So we're going to divide 15 by 4. We get 15 fourths. It's an improper fraction. We're going to turn it into a mixed number. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it the long division with a semi-remainder answer, where 4 goes in 3 times. That's 12, and we get 3. Our big number, our integer, is 3. Our denominator always stays the same, and our other remainder becomes our new numerator. Or you could do it by actually knowing the trick. Now, just as a side note, multiplying by 1/4 is the same as dividing by 4. That's because these are placeholders, and this is the dividing number. So if we did, again, this to miles, because we missed earlier stuff like that, we found out that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And I want to find out feet here. So what I can do is I can solve. I don't know their greatest common factor. I know they both ended in a 0, so I got rid of my zeros. And then I just started dividing by 2s until I couldn't. And then I found out my answer is 1/2. Here, 100 ounces to 1 pound. Or to pounds. 1 pound is 16 ounces. So we need to divide 100 divided by 16. 100 divided by 16. So I can divide them both by 4. I can simplify them first by dividing them by 4. And I get 25 over 4. And then I think, Lennox, how many times does 4 go into 25? Perfect. It goes in 6 times without going over. Denominator stays the same. What was 4 times 6, Lennox?
4 times 6 equals 24.
So I take that away from the top. 25 minus 24 is 1. So that's what my answer would be as a mixed number. Try this one. 3 cups to pints. So again, a pint is bigger than a cup. We're going from smaller to bigger, so we divide. How many cups is in 1 pint? Who would like to tell me how many cups are in 1 pint? Leor? 2 cups are in 1 pint. So I want to figure out how much 3 cups is. How many pints is 3 cups? Ben, what did you get as your answer? Mike's not working, so Samantha, what did you get as your answer?
I didn't get an answer yet. 3 and I'm confused.
So,
is it 2?
Yeah, so we're dividing 3 into 2 groups. Because 3 cups is 1 pint, or 2 cups is 1 pint, and I have 3 of them. So I'm dividing it. I get 3 halves. How many times does 2 go into 3 without going over?
Once.
Perfect, just the 1 time. That's our big number. Denominator stays the same. It went in once, which is 2 times 1 is 2. What's 3 minus 2, Samantha?
1.
Perfect. We get our answer to be 1 and 1/2. So again, I want you to make sure you have this. From a smaller unit to a bigger unit, we divide. From a bigger unit to a smaller unit, we multiply. So this is important to know because otherwise you'll mess up. Not numbers, but units. So for example, inches are smaller than feet. Feet is smaller than miles. Gallons are bigger than cups. So you have to think about what you're doing to get to each answer. I want you to try this one. 4.5 feet to yards. 4.5 feet to yards. 1 yard is equal to how many feet? Who can tell me 1 yard is equal to how many feet? Lior?
5.
No. Emma, what is it? 3. 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. Are we going from smaller to bigger or bigger to smaller? Are we going from smaller to bigger or bigger to smaller? What do we think, Lior?
Bigger to smaller.
We are going from smaller to bigger. Feet are smaller than yards. So from going to smaller to bigger, we're going to divide. 4.5 divided by 3. When I divide, what must it be when I divide? I can't just do it like that. I have to do mixed number form. Am I correct? I have to make them into an improper fraction. What is 4 1/2 as an improper fraction? What is 4 1/2 as an improper fraction? Jack, what is it?
It's 4.5. You can add
As an improper fraction.
improper.
Because you gave me it as a decimal, which is great. But as an improper fraction, Emma? 9 halves. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus that 1, we get 9 halves. We're dividing by 3. Dividing by 3 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/3. Just so you know. Same exact thing. Same exact thing as dividing by 1/3. Or is multiplying by 1/3. Another way, like we can say, is if we made it a decimal, because we did our last chapter, we know how to divide. We know how to divide with decimals. So if it's better to make it into a decimal for you to divide, then do that. Otherwise, you're going to make it into that. So let's see. Lennox, what did you get as your answer?
I got 1.5 or 1 1/2.
Perfect. He's correct. He got 1.5 or 1 1/2. The ways we could do it. We could cross cancel here. 9 and 3 are both divisible by 3. We get 3 and 1. I multiply across. I get my 3 halves. And I make it into a mixed number, which is 1 1/2. If you wanted to do it with the decimal root, the decimal way, it would be 4.5 and 3. 3 goes in 1 time. That's 3. We get 1. Bring down our decimal. 3 goes into 15 5 times. But I need you guys to get used to writing it as fractions too, so make sure you know. Remember, I've taught you certain decimals and fraction pairs you need to memorize. I want you to go to the guided practice, page 292. So page 292. While you're getting there, let's talk about this. Marquis, what is bigger, yards or feet? Yards are bigger than feet. Going from bigger to smaller means multiply. Lennox, what's bigger, pints or cups?
I'm pretty sure it's cups.
Pints, surprisingly, are bigger. So again, we're going to multiply. Let's see. I want, Harry, what's bigger, quarts or gallons? What's bigger, quarts or gallons?
Gallons.
Perfect. So since we're going from smaller to bigger, we now are dividing. What's bigger, inches or feet? Emil, are inches bigger than feet or are feet bigger than inches? Feet are bigger. So we're going from smaller to bigger, which means we divide. A large grouper can weigh 1/3 of a ton. How much does a large grouper weigh to the nearest pound? We're going from tons to pounds. Damar, what's bigger, tons or pounds? Yes, tons are bigger, which means that we're going from bigger to smaller. We multiply. The world's narrowest electric vehicle is about 35 inches wide. How wide is this vehicle to the nearest foot? Samantha, what's bigger, inches or feet?
Feet.
Exactly, so we're going to be dividing. What we're doing is we're multiplying. When we multiply, I can only multiply fractions. I have to turn this into a fraction. Who would like to tell me what 5 1/3 is as an improper fraction? Who can tell me 5 1/3 is an improper fraction? Lennox, what is it an improper fraction?
16/3.
Perfect, 16/3. What we did is we multiplied 5 times 3. Our denominator stayed the same. We added it to the numerator. Times 3/1. We can cross cancel. We get 16 feet. What about this next one? Jack, what is 4 1/2 as an improper fraction?
That would be 9/2.
9/2, exactly. As we know from our thing, there are 2 cups per pint, so I'm multiplying it by 2. Hey, again, I can cross cancel those, and I just get 9. 12 quarts to a gallon. We already have that. We're just dividing, so it's going to be 12 divided by how many quarts are in 1 gallon? Who can tell me how many quarts are in 1 gallon? Lennox, how many? 4 quarts are in 1 gallon, so we divide it by that, we get 3. 28 inches to feet. Samantha, how many inches are in 1 foot?
12.
So I'm going to divide 28 into 12 groups. I know it goes in 2 times, that's 24, so I'd have 4/12 left. I can simplify 4/12 to be 1/3. I can simplify 4/12 to be 1/3. A large grouper can weigh 1/3 of a ton. How much does a large grouper weigh to the nearest pound? Do we know how many pounds are in 1 ton? How many pounds are in 1 ton? What do we think, Lennox?
It's either, here, let me check. I'm pretty sure it's either 1,000 or 2,000.
It is 2,000. So we'd multiply that. We would get 2,000 over 3. And then you would need to simplify, which quite frankly, I don't feel like doing, but we get 666 2/3. Lastly, the world's narrowest electric vehicle is about 35 inches wide. How wide is it to the nearest foot? I want to get from here divided by 12 gives me my feet. So I would get 35 divided by 12. 12 goes into 35 2 times. That's 24. So I would have 24, and I have a remainder of 11/12. That's what I would have as my remainder. So there we go. That's how we do it. There is no homework tonight. There is no homework tonight. So enjoy, everybody. Okay.